Welcome to Culture Screen, where we analyze culture. In this episode, we're summarizing the 13th episode, season finale of season 4 of the Sopranos series titled Whitecaps. The episode first aired on December 8th, 2002. In the beginning, Carmela gets sick, so Tony takes her to Dr. Cusimano for a checkup. Cusimano affirms that she only has a cold and suggests that stress may be to blame for her condition. Tony takes a detour when driving Carmela back home. He instead drives Carmela toward a surprise he wants to show her. Tony's surprise fulfills one of the dreams he and Carmela have had since they were much younger. It's a vacation home for the family to spend time together. The surprise home is in Whitecaps. When they arrive, Tony shows Carmela the beachside property and he tells her that he hopes to purchase it. When they meet with Virginia Lupo, a realtor, they find out that the property's owner, a lawyer named Alan Sapinsley, sold the home to a couple, but that their mortgage application can be turned down if Tony offers a cash payment. As we catch up with Adriana, she welcomes Christopher when he exits the rehab facility. Although Christopher seems to be in terrific condition, Tony continues to prod him to make sure he is actually sober. He updates Christopher on what has happened after he left for treatment, including the issue he has been going through with the Lupertazzi family due to the HUD scam and Johnny Sack's current plot to have Carmine Lupertazzi whacked. Tony goes on to explain that Carmine is set to be whacked due to him getting in the way of their Esplanade business. Christopher finds it odd that Carmine won't budge on the business in order to continue making money, as he did when Johnny wanted to have Ralph whacked for offending his wife. Christopher can't understand how Carmine could refuse to take out Ralph over money, but has no problem losing money over the HUD scam just to prove a point. We see the fat joke Ralph said about Jeannie still hurts Johnny and continues to guide him in some aspects of his criminal life. We also see Adriana speaks with Agent Sanseverino in the interim, and she expresses hope for Christopher being able to stay sober. When Sanseverino inquires about Ralph's whereabouts, she shares the story Christopher told her about Ralph getting addicted to cocaine following the accident that hospitalized his son, and that Ralph is himself in rehab. In another scene, due to his reduced income as a result of Carmine closing down the Esplanade, Johnny Sack now must postpone a vacation he had set up for him and Jeannie. Johnny meets up with Tony and with the intention of carrying out the hit on Carmine, but he wants Jersey to be behind the hit as a way of distancing himself from the death of his boss. Tony is cautious about the negotiation and acts as if he is unsure as a way of negotiating with Johnny. Johnny notices this and ends up offering Tony all HUD profits to Tony and a 60-40 split going forward in Tony's favor on all Zellman related business. Tony concocts a plan where the hit on Carmine can be passed off as a botched carjacking. To do this, Tony makes Christopher responsible for carrying out the hit on Carmine. Christopher then tasks Stanley Johnson and Credenzo Curtis with the hit by providing them details on Carmine's daily schedule. Carmela is drawn to the beach property and wants Tony to buy it as an investment, despite being deterred that the vacation home has been sold already. When Tony and Christopher go to see Alan Sapinsley, Sapinsley is persuaded to cancel Dr. Kim's loan application by Tony's upfront cash money offer to buy the home. Tony buys the house in cash and asks AJ and Meadow to look around the property. Both of them are thrilled about their new second home. Tony and Carmela take this opportunity to go on a romantic stroll along the shore. In another scene, we see the former guma of Tony, Irina, calls up the Soprano residence while intoxicated. AJ answers the phone and ends up handing it off to Carmela. Irina tells Carmela that she used to sleep with Tony. This shocks Carmela into hanging up the phone. A few moments pass before Irina calls back and explains that the real reason for her call was her anger. Irina is hurt and upset because she just found out Tony also had sex with her own handicapped cousin Svetlana. Prior to hanging up, Carmela threatens to take out Irina herself. As Tony approaches his home, Carmela yells at him to leave and ends up throwing all of his possessions and belongings out the window. Tony learns from Carmela that she received a call from Irina, then an intense argument breaks out. We see firsthand as the many years of resentment carried by Carmela are finally released in this scene. Tony then follows Carmela upstairs. Carmela becomes furious and she tells Tony that she will be seeking a divorce from Tony and proceeds to sob uncontrollably. Remember, I am summarizing the entire series, so subscribe and click on the notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. I will be reviewing other TV shows and movies as well. Let me know what you would like me to summarize in the future in the comments section below. Doing these two things helps my channel out tremendously. I thank you for your support. Also, follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content and on Patreon if you can. Later on, Tony goes on to search for Irina. Svetlana is who he bumps into instead. Tony discovers that Irina learned about their affair from Branka, Svetlana's assistant, who confessed having walked in on them out of spite following a financial disagreement. Svetlana shares that Irina's resentment stemmed from Tony beating up Ronald Zellman, who was unable to continue performing in bed with Irina after Tony whipped him in front of her, and that this led him to subsequently end his relationship to Irina. Tony ends up agreeing to Carmela's demands and heads over to the Whitecaps for the time being. Tony explains his newfound predicament to Sapinsley when he discovers him there in the morning. When Tony visits Sapinsley and Trish, his wife, Tony tells Sapinsley that he wants to cancel his purchase of the Whitecaps. Sapinsley does not like the idea of Tony requesting to back out of the purchase, especially since he already turned down the mortgage application he originally had secured. Sapinsley objects to this, and as Tony leaves, Trish tells him how dangerous it is to get into a back and forth with Tony, who is a well-known and reputable mobster. When Meadow discusses the divorce with Carmela, she briefly brings up Furio as a potential cause. Carmela, however, insists that Furio and her were never romantically connected. Meadow modifies her position after realizing how long Carmela tolerated Tony's persistent adultery. Paulie Walnuts insists that Tony should evict Carmela from his home since he was the one who paid for it in the first place. Tony receives different opinions on his potential divorce from the guys back at the Bada Bing. The majority of them suggest an amicable separation, especially for the sake of their children. When Tony gets home, a furious Carmela forbids him from even opening the refrigerator. Another dispute results from this, and Carmela once again commands Tony to leave immediately. Tony chooses to move into the pool house as a way of compromising with Carmela. Tony sets up an air mattress to sleep. Moments later, AJ asks if he can move into the pool house with Tony, and Tony swiftly shuts AJ down and commands him to be kind to his mother, especially during this difficult time. Tony also vows that going forward, he will be playing a much larger role in AJ's life. As we catch up with Carmine, we see Carmine Lupertazzi meeting up with Tony, and we see he is compassionate and shows that he is saddened due to Tony's current marital problems. This impacts Carmine's decision to accept Tony's 12.5% share on the HUD scam as his final HUD split proposal. Despite the agreement, we see Johnny Sack still wants to take out Carmine, and he wants Tony's crew to carry out the prearranged hit. Tony, however, does not feel right about the entire predicament and chooses to back out of his role in the hit. Tony backs out because he is concerned that Johnny may be playing both him and Carmine. He also realizes he no longer needs to take out a sitting New York boss. Tony proceeds to cancel the hit and instructs Christopher to make sure no word of the planned hit ever gets out on the street. Christopher understands exactly what Tony means by this, and he arranges a meeting with both Johnson and Curtis. He pays them for their time. Shortly after, he orders Petey LaRosa and Benny Fazio to take out both of the hitmen. Later on, Tony meets up with Johnny. Johnny is upset that the plan they devised to take out Carmine was scrapped. Tony and Johnny leave, with Johnny especially being upset at the whole ordeal. Tony tells Johnny that he still values and respects him as a close friend of his. As they are back at the house, Carmela asks Tony to move misplaced chairs off the lawn while she unwinds in the backyard pool. Tony and Carmela argue again, and the two dispute when Tony criticizes Carmela for telling him that he would go to hell a few years ago. Carmela concedes that she probably was a little sarcastic, and she leads Tony toward the pool house where she makes an effort to speak to him while remembering the happy times they once shared. Carmela is then accused of being a hypocrite by Tony because she chose to marry a man that she knew all along lived his lifestyle, all the while anticipating a more special monogamous relationship. Tony also goes on to point out that she takes advantage of the income his lifestyle generates. Tony highlights that Carmela has no issue with the financial gains that come from his lifestyle, but refuses to accept the little that is bad. As a retaliation to this, Carmela confesses her love for Furio, and she compares Tony to having cancer. Tony contemplates punching Carmela as he grips onto her, but instead chooses to punch holes into the wall. Tony shares with Carmela that he sought out women who were tougher and more independent than her. Later on, Tony tries to contact Dr. Melfi, but as soon as she answers, Tony proceeds to hang up the phone. In the end, Tony finally decides to leave the house. We see Tony share a tearful goodbye with his kids, and he leaves in his car, leaving Carmela and AJ alone inside. As we catch up with Sapinsley, we see he does not agree to refund Tony his money for the vacation home. Tony decides to send Bonifacio and little Paulie every night into the bay with his boat, the Stugats. The two are ordered to blast Dean Martin music until Sapinsley finally gives up at the request of his wife, who is fed up of listening to the loud music night after night. That was episode number 52, titled Whitecaps. To watch the next or previous episode summary, click on the link in the description or at the end of this video. If you enjoyed this summary, consider clicking like. It goes a long way toward helping me grow this channel. Also, consider supporting us on Patreon. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. I'll see you on the next one.
That guy's a mobster.
We upload new videos every week, so subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Click the notification bell to be notified of when we upload these videos. See you on the next episode of Culture Screen.